What's going on, everyone? This is your weekly sun sign horoscopes for the week of May 22nd to May 29th, 2024. I'm astrologer Alex Skiles, and welcome to the Moonbase. Hope you guys are doing amazing. It's great to be here with all of you. As usual, here we are, the long-awaited sun signs. We've been talking about it for a while, and lately, a lot of people have been asking me to do sun signs. So I think I've figured out a good way and a good system to deliver it in a high-quality way. So, I don't just want to do it half-ass or do it fucking just bland and boring. I want to actually make it a little interesting for people to watch and not just listen to me talk, but actually be able to see it firsthand and also make it cool. So I hope you guys enjoy, and any feedback on this content would be really amazing because I want to keep expanding and evolving it. And the feedback that I've gotten from the people who are here watching has been really helpful to help design and organize how I'm trying to do things. So it's been very helpful and I appreciate it. So if you're new here, subscribe to this channel, like this video, comment, say what's up, share this video with your friends or anybody who you think would enjoy this or could find it beneficial. And all the links to all my social media platforms are in the description of this video, which you can find my reading sale as well. You will find the link to my booking website in the description of this video with all of my links to all my websites where you can find me. So hit that up. It's going to be going to June 21st. June is booking out right now, the first week. So I would get on that real quick. So anyway, here we are. Sun signs. Aries, what's good? You've just gone through some massive eclipses in your first house. Okay, Chiron and the North Node have conjunct in your first house over these past few months. And I think this week with this full moon in your ninth house, there's finally this big window and this bigger vision that's starting to come through. And being able to have this confidence to be able to look at the bigger picture and say, you know what, this is the destiny I want to aim for, right? This full moon in Sagittarius is really helping you see where you want to aim and how high and how far you want to aim. And Mars in your sign that just came off the North Node has really pushed you towards this more karmic, destined, fated place where your soul really wants to go, but also a lot of karmic events that's triggering you to move further down that path have really come up, especially since the eclipses, the last eclipse in Aries. And we're going to have the final eclipses in Libra and Aries in October. And then you're done with the nodes being here in the eclipses. So this full moon is definitely reminding you to maintain that higher vision, okay? And when you can maintain that higher vision, you can expand your mind and your consciousness in ways that you never expected. And definitely all of these planets in your second house and all these Taurus transits and all these Taurus conjunctions in your second house and this Venus-Jupiter conjunction that's happening on this full moon in your ninth, on a financial level, you have bigger opportunities to really lay out the groundwork to set yourself up financially more than anyone in the zodiac right now. So your second house being activated by Jupiter and the new moon and the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction that we just went through, and now Mercury is here, where you can actually start to understand how you can put that plan into action and really innovate some genius ways here as Mercury gets closer to Uranus, innovating some really new, brilliant ways to bring new resources into your life. Because at the same time, financially, new opportunities have been opening up for you left and right. It's just a matter of if you're willing to walk through the door, right? But I think this full moon is really bringing in this whole new benefic, positive, optimistic energy for you that you haven't felt in a long time, especially dealing with Chiron. And that Mars is getting closer to Chiron, and by next week, it's going to be within just a few degrees of its conjunction. Okay, and then you're going to be done dealing with Chiron for a minute, even though it's going to be in your sign. But over the past few months, since February, and even through Capricorn season, when it was squaring the nodes and squaring Chiron, you've been going through a lot. You've been going through a massive evolution here. Okay, especially on just your individual being, your individual self, your identity, right? You know, I think for a while, Aries has been kind of confused on where its place is in the world. And I definitely think Mars is really giving you this initiation to really just say, screw it, F it. I'm not going to get stuck in the muck. I'm not going to get caught up in the things that didn't work out or in the relationships that didn't work out, the South Node in your 7th, right? Or just, you know, I got to cut ties with any codependent situation. It's like you have to heal yourself. You have to initiate this plan and put it into action, okay? Because you have all of these brand new opportunities of abundance where you can bring in the resources that you need to really manifest the life that you want. You know, that's what the second house is all about, you know, in Taurus. Bringing in the right resources to sustain and manifest the life that you desire. Okay, the sun's in your 3rd house, so being able to expand and maneuver around different environments, and the sun sextile, or the sun making a trine to Pluto, you being willing to just step out of your comfort zone and try new things, go and dabble in different environments, connect with new people. You might find some new connections where you're going to connect with people on a deeper level where it's like, oh, wow, like, you know, I've kind of been stuck in the same place just trying to find comfort in the 2nd house, which things have been a little bit, there's been this odd layer of like internally with yourself, a little discomfort and just, you know, feeling uneasy. But at the same time, in your physical world, it's like, okay, all this Taurus energy and all these Taurus conjunctions have been reminding you, you know, it's not so bad. There is more comfort, and you can find more comfort in different areas than maybe you realize, you know, especially getting caught up in this Chiron stuff that Aries has been going through. So the sun in your 3rd house in Gemini, trining Pluto in Aquarius, you know, you maybe people from the past, deep connections from the past that may have been severed, friendships especially, you know, and when you're willing to go out into different places and try new things, you know, you might run into people that you haven't talked to in a long time, you know, that you were connected with on a deep level. That could very much pop up over these next few days, going into the next week, you know, with the sun trine Pluto. So I think this full moon is really just blasting you off into new territory and wanting to take you to a place of being able to just have a more optimistic perspective and point of view, okay? And I think that's where this week for you is headed, is being able to like put it into action and put it into place of really focusing on your healing and not just getting caught up in the past, getting caught up in the wounds. Neptune and Saturn's in your 12th, so getting caught up in the past is just going to take you through the same loops over and over and over into places that can just lead you to fucking madness, insanity, you know, or just fully escaping you. You don't want to fall into that. And that's where Saturn is testing Aries right now, is how much you are willing to just commit to the spiritual path and surrender. I think for Aries right now, surrender is a big lesson, even though you are going through some very amazing benefic transits in your 2nd house, where resources are available at your fingertips, you know, and you can create a more secure life more than you probably have been able to feel in a very long time. So, fuck yeah, Aries. Let's pull a card for Aries. So, the King of Wands. It's up to you, you know, and you got to light that fire within you. You got to take charge, you know, even if you got to fucking be a little bit more serious, like, you know, and you got to be able to walk through the fire. You know, and sometimes you just have to trust your instincts, right? It's like that fight or flight. You just got to go where your instincts tell you to go. And that's very Mars and Aries. And you have to like trust that intuition and that fire within you to carry you towards that magical place, because you're holding the magic. You're wielding the magic, you know. Others may not be able to see it yet, right? But I don't think that's where you need to focus just yet. Once we get to Leo season, then you can start focusing on wanting to express that towards others. But right now it's just for you, and to focus on yourself and actually put this healing plan into place with Mars getting ready to conjunct Chiron this week, you know, and new connections that you're willing to dabble out or dabble into and go into different unknown territory. With the sun trine Pluto this week, you know, you're going to make amazing connections with different kinds of people you may not feel like you're, you know, used to connecting with. So I think getting outside of your comfort zone and blasting off with this full moon in Sagittarius is going to take you into whole new territory, and a whole new sense of optimism is coming into Aries life. And it's been a long time. Aries has been going through a lot with the nodes and Chiron. So this is complete new territory for Aries. Taurus, I mean, you're the king of the year. Like, you win this year. I mean, you are blessed. You have been so blessed this year, no matter what. I mean, Uranus, of course, Uranus and Taurus is difficult for Taurus. I mean, Taurus is fixed. Uranus shakes things up and wants to just poke and prod and pull you into new different directions. And the moment you think you're comfortable, Uranus is just like, nope, sorry, you got to go here now. You know, and Taurus has had to learn how to maneuver with that kind of energy and that electric energy, you know. So with so much happening in your first house, the best transits of the year happening in your first house, Venus is in your first house, I feel like your self-worth and your value in the world is increased so much through this new moon, through this Jupiter-Uranus conjunction, in ways that you didn't expect. And this week, this full moon for you in Sagittarius is really just pulling you into, you know, a whole new it's taking you to a deep place, right? This full moon's happening in your 8th house. So you are moving into some very deep realms within your mind. And I think being able to, that's the thing about Taurus, because they have a Sagittarius 8th house, right? An 8th house is being able to like make connections with other people, to utilize resources on a different level, with relationships, you know, making investments with other people. It's just like, that's the thing. You have a Sagittarius 8th house. When you believe and you have faith that you're going to connect with the right people to help you, you know, achieve your larger vision, or to bring in resources from other people in other areas, like, you just have to have faith and believe. That's the thing about Taurus with the Sag 8th house. It's like, all you have to do is believe and have faith and trust, you know, and this full moon can very much bring in some of the most important, amazing people in your life that could really help you grow what you want to grow on a financial level, on a deeper level, on a deeper spiritual level. I mean, Taurus has just been going through some the most amazing transits. And so your whole version of yourself is completely transformed, you know, and your career has been transforming in such a big way. With Pluto in your 10th house, I mean, you've been going through massive career transformation, and this full moon for you can really see new possibilities, you know, and to, you know, if you're a Taurus and you own your business, you know, connecting with people who can help you grow your business, you know, who could bring a whole new sense of faith and optimism of like, you know what, here's a bigger goal. Let's set a bigger goal. We can achieve this, you know. And I think for Taurus too, with that 8th house, it's like, you need that. You need other people to come into your life who, you know, maybe are a little bit more positive than you, who aren't as fixed, they're stubborn as you, to help you see the bigger picture. So this full moon can bring in new people in your life, right? And so is this Venus-Jupiter conjunction. It's like, I think for you, people are just so attracted to you right now. You are the most attractive sign in the zodiac, and you are a fucking magnet for whatever, whether it is the love partnership that you want to bring in, or financial abundance with this Venus-Jupiter conjunction. The sun's in your 2nd house now, so, you know, it's really lighting up that area where it's like, you know, you can bring more security and resources into your life, right? And this Neptune-Saturn in your 12th house, you know, like, you know, there's been some confusion about some people maybe you're connected with, or really testing your friendships and how you connect in the world. Maybe you want to throw yourself out there online, but, you know, you're kind of just only thinking about it right now. You know, you got to really put that plan into action. And Mars is in your 12th house, and that North Node's still in your 12th house. So you are on the spiritual mission right now, and you just have to surrender and just trust that, you know, when you get into a place of these subconscious patterns that pop up, and, you know, it's a little uncomfortable, and you have to face it head on. That is, you are in the spiritual battle right now, you know, and Chiron in your 12th too. So it's like facing these subconscious wounds that have really triggered you in very strange ways, you know, that I don't think other people really see, and you're not really sharing with other people. Okay, Mercury's in your sign. So I think being able to speak your voice, speak your mind. Mercury's in your first house. Just speak it straight from the head. Taurus rules the throat, right? So Mercury in the first house, in Taurus, it's like your mind and your head and your voice and your passion. You were being able to convey your emotions and your words in a very passionate way right now. Okay? So, and I think when you are willing to speak and use your voice and just not overthink about, oh, maybe I should say it like this, or maybe I should have said it like that. No, you just have to speak it, uninhibitedly. Whatever comes to your mind, let it out. And with that full moon in the 8th house, that's where you're going to attract the right people who can help you, because that's what the 8th house is all about. The 8th house means many things, but I think most importantly is the people that you trust, the people that you're connected to, but also this full moon can really clear out some people maybe who have broken your trust, or maybe that you feel like you can't trust. And I think too, intuitively, there might be some people with that Mars in your 12th house that maybe aren't in your best interest, where this full moon wants to clear. Okay. And definitely with that Saturn in your 11th house is bringing that up too. It's like maybe some connections and friendships are not serving you, right? And Neptune is definitely bringing some confusion there. So this full moon in Sag is really shining the light on the truth of what these issues with maybe some people in your life that, you're not feeling great about, and clearing that out is going to help you towards your spiritual path and allow you to aim higher, right? That's what this full moon is all about, is you being able to aim higher, and going through this next week, Jupiter is going to be coming into your 2nd house. Venus is going to be coming into your 2nd house. So when it comes to, you've already benefited because you're a Taurus. So when it comes to resources and money and, your value and your work, you've had such an increase over this past year, especially with Jupiter here. But now it's coming into your 2nd house, and now you can start to actually reap the rewards of this, because that's what happens when Jupiter leaves a sign. You start to reap the benefits of that whole previous transit, right? So that's what's happening. Your 2nd house is about to get lit up. So new financial opportunities, new ways to find better security and more security in your life, I think are going to start to show up for you. And I think Taurus this has just been your best year ever. And it's setting you up for the next decade, okay? And more, for the next 12 years. So you have had such a lucky moment and such big blessings. And the blessings are about to show up as Jupiter moves into Gemini, into your 2nd house. It's full moon in your 8th house. And I think whatever kinds of people that come in and you just have this deep bonded connection with, I think that's where you're going to find those blessings, are in those deep bonds and those deep connections, and those people you can trust, but also getting rid of anything or any situations that are not trustworthy, okay? And it's really important to discern who and what they are and what those relationships and connections are. So, in that South Node in your 6th house as well, don't be overthinking things about relationships, or don't be going back, thinking oh, well, what if this, what if that? The South Node in the 6th house is trying to help you get out of these overthinking patterns. Okay. And you have the Moon card. So it is this is going to be a very emotional week for Taurus. This full moon is going to be very emotional. It's going to be a purging. When you have a full moon in your 8th house, it's purging some deep emotions. Okay. And I think it's connected to any sort of connections or friendships or relationships that you've had in life that just are not on your frequency. Your frequency, Taurus's frequency, has leveled up so much over the past year. And especially with Uranus since 2018, you're starting to get the hang of Uranus finally. Uranus is at 23 degrees. So you've been through 3 decans. Well, we'll say almost 2.5 decans of Uranus in your sign. So, you're finally starting to get the hang of it. But, it's you got to always remember that, there's always the positive on the other side. When things do get darker, deeper, emotions do come up. This full moon may bring in, some deeper feelings, but also at the same time, it's like new opportunities, new, visions of the future. I think Neptune as well, like you being able to like really see all possibilities and all the connections that need to be made to really bring you to a higher, better, more benefic, beautiful place that will increase your knowledge, increase your spirituality, and increase and enhance your ability to maintain that positive frequency to manifest that reality that you want, because that's what Taurus does, and that's what Taurus is a master at, and that's why we love Taurus. God bless Taurus. Gemini, it's your season. It's your time. You got the sun in your first house. You just came out of the sun in your 12th, so it's like you've really been behind the scenes, Focusing on behind the scenes things, really increasing and leveling up spiritually. All of these amazing Taurus transits have been happening in your 12th house. So spiritually, you've expanded in such amazing ways where like your value of who you are and your spiritual value has increased, and the people may not see it yet. Not everyone can see the value of Gemini's spiritual gifts at this moment. Okay. But I think Jupiter coming into your first house with Venus about to come into your first house here, the world is ready to see it. Okay? Finally. Okay. And it's just like, I think new connections and new friends, like all the right people are showing up in your life. I think these full moons in the North Node in Aries has brought so many new wonderful friendships and connections, but also brought up a lot of wounds where friendships and connections just didn't work out. So where that's connected to how your spiritual growth has been and what it's been like for Gemini going through this spiritual transformation, it's like, wow, like Pluto's been breaking down your beliefs, okay? Your beliefs about the people you're connected to, right? Your spiritual beliefs, the way you thought the world worked, that there's more to it. And that's the thing. Having Pluto in your 9th as a Gemini, Gemini is just, a lot of times Gemini just wants to be present right here, right now, just wants to have fun, right? Sagittarius, it wants to think about the bigger, larger picture and look at the larger things. And Gemini, does too, but not in the way that Sag does. So with Pluto in the house of Sag for you, has been breaking down those limited ways of thinking and those limited beliefs, right? And Jupiter in your 12th, Uranus in your 12th has really been triggering you and shaking you up to find new ways to expand your spirituality, behind the scenes. And also like Uranus has been shaking things up in ways where it's just like carrying you into different directions and different territories and just like shocks over and over and over again. That's just been like, fuck, like I'm not in control. Like I can't control the situation. And that's exactly the point. And that's the message. And that's what Jupiter has been teaching you and showing you and increasing in your life, is that when you just surrender and you are willing to think larger and think bigger, that's where Gemini, when we talk about the mutable signs, it's like Sagittarius and Pisces. They're in the higher realms. Gemini is just like right here, right now. I just want to fucking ride my skateboard around the city, right? It's like, well, Sag is like, I'm going to get in my fucking rocket ship and go as far as I can. And Pisces is like, I'm just going to fucking leave my body. I'll see y'all later. Peace out. So it's, the Pluto in your 9th and all of these 12th house transits and conjunctions and Taurus is teaching you to really look further, just beyond what's right in front of you. And this full moon in your 7th house is bringing in all kinds of new relationships and possibilities for new relationships that's going to open these doors for Gemini. Okay? So it can be other people coming into your life with this full moon that can really reflect back to you the perspective that you need to be able to see what that really means to look further out. And that's what Sagittarius teaches us, right? And that's what Sag teaches Gemini. But Gemini teaches Sagittarius to just also, like, you don't always have to be so far out, Let's just be present. Let's just be right here and enjoy and live this moment right here, right now, Sometimes you get caught up in the overthinking, it can drive you mad. Gemini, if you get caught up in the overthinking and the overstimulation, it can get a little wild. And I think Mercury in your 12th house is kind of wanting to help you calm that mind a little bit, because Gemini's mind is so active. So when you get Mercury in the 12th house, it's like letting go of trying to make sense of things, letting go of trying to perfect or, just worry about what is like, well, this is the facts, blah, blah, blah. It's like, yeah, of course the facts are important. And this full moon is really highlighting a lot of truths, in your life, especially within your relationships. But this Mercury in your 12th is really helping you, is teaching you. It wants to show you that, especially getting closer to Uranus, it's like, it wants to show you that, you don't always have to think too much or think too hard or try to make sense of everything or worry about explaining yourself. If you can just allow the feeling to express itself through your mind, and through your words. Sometimes words don't need to be perfectly laid out or perfect grammar. That's the thing about Mercury in the 12th or Mercury in Pisces. Words are just feelings, like poetry, where poetry isn't necessarily like perfect grammar, but it's conveyed in a way where it's beautiful. So I think right now, channeling your mental energy into just some free form, free flow channeling of writing or poetry or anything like that, I think you can really come up with some amazing stuff right now, especially with Uranus, Mercury and Uranus getting ready to meet with each other. You have to let the thoughts and the feelings flow onto the paper and not just try to make sense of it, right? It doesn't matter. All that matters right now is the feeling, because that's where you're going to really come up with some really unique, innovative, different ways of doing things, creatively, spiritually, right? And I think Jupiter just leaving your 12th house this week is really bringing you into yourself, right? And I think Jupiter coming into your first too, it's like a whole new season for you. So this next decade, this is kicking off the next decade of you reinventing yourself, you shifting your beliefs about yourself, shifting your beliefs about your identity, and Venus coming into your first, it's like people are going to be very attracted to Gemini right now and very much seeking that sort of energy, right? That sort of fun, youthful, kind of teenager-like, just no consequence energy, okay? But at the same time, Saturn in your 10th, Neptune in your 10th, you're going through massive career changes, or maybe you have a lot of weight in your career and you're carrying a lot of weight within your career. And maybe, sometimes that weight is too much where it's like you just want to fucking check out and you just want to escape. It's like finding ways to calm the mind with this Mercury in your 12th, with Saturn in your 10th. You got to find ways to really calm your mind at this moment and not get caught up in overthinking and overdoing things, because that's never good, especially for Gemini, because you're such a fucking genius, right? So, Gemini, with everything coming out of your 12th house, finally, people are going to start to notice. People are going to start to notice you. They're going to see the value of you. With Venus in your first, Jupiter in your first, and eventually Mercury will cross into your first house as well to meet with Jupiter and Gemini. And you're going to have that Venus, Jupiter, or the Sun, Venus, Cazimi in your first house. So it's like people are going to be wanting to be with you, wanting to be around you, and wanting to help you increase your value of who you are. And a whole new version of Gemini is starting to really show itself, So it's a celebration. I think Gemini can finally fucking celebrate, the Six of Wands. It's like we could just finally come out of the 12th house darkness, okay? I think when you go through 12th house transits like that, especially Jupiter in your 12th, it's like, shit. Even though you're not alone, you can feel very alone. And I think when you are having Jupiter in your 12th, spending more time alone is necessary to really go within and expand that internal space or that subconscious space, and it's helpful for spiritual growth, but it can get lonely. And I think definitely at the end, when planets are just right above your rising, about ready to come into your first house, it's like, fuck, like that 29th degree in the zodiac, or that 29th degree before it comes to the 0 degrees of your ascendant or wherever it is. That is like some of the hardest moments, the most loneliest moments. And I think you can finally celebrate with Venus and Jupiter coming into your first house, the sun in your first house. I think Gemini is entering into whole new territory. I think too what's really cool, like we talked about, is that Mercury in your 12th, just letting the thoughts flow and not trying to make sense of everything, as Pluto is really breaking down old beliefs and old patterns, okay, that are unnecessary. And this full moon is really bringing in new opportunities for growth in your relationship, or new relationships that are coming through, but that are only based on a direction and a purpose, which is Sagittarius. So, okay. I think we're doing pretty good, right? Cancer. What is up? So, got the sun in your 12th, right? So you are kind of going more into internal space, right? And I think for Cancer, with this full moon in their 6th house, being able to really focus on your health, focus on your work life, right? I think even if you've maybe been going through some health issues, or maybe some mental issues that have been kind of taking you into some weird places, I think this is a full moon where you can finally put an end to that. Okay? And I think this week is really setting you up in a way where your career life is really expanded. Like Cancer is doing really well in their career. Like there's a lot going on here. There's a lot going on in your career, and I think too, maybe for Cancer right now, your career is so active, but at the same time, you're not getting enough you time or enough family time or whatever. There might be a lot going on for you where it's hard to disperse your time, right? And Saturn in your 9th is really like helping you level up your beliefs, and expanding your knowledge. This is a great time for Cancer to just be really putting in you want to learn new things, travel. Saturn is saying like you need to do that, but also at the same time, it's like maybe you don't have enough time to give yourself the love that you want, or just sit down and like learn new things. Like you have so much going on in your career, right? But also like in your home life, it's like these eclipses have like helped you kind of let go of certain things that have just not been like pleasant. This South Node in your 4th house, because you're a Cancer. Cancer rules the 4th house. I think definitely over this next week with this full moon, it's like you can finally get over certain things that you've been holding on to, especially connected to your home life and your career life and your work life and your health. I think if you're overworking, you can maybe drive yourself mad, but you've been blessed at the same time with this North Node in your 10th. It's like it's taking you to all the right places you need to be, connecting with the right people to help you build the structure in your life and how you want that structure to be. And you are supported in that regard. And definitely with all this Taurus energy happening in your 11th house, you've been connecting with really amazing people, connecting with people who actually see the value of you, right? And now it's like being able to communicate your value and communicate with the right people who actually see the value within you. Mercury is going to be getting closer to Uranus over this next week. So it's like new connections and new people are coming into your life who are going to help you increase your value, right? Which is good for your career life. But I definitely think this full moon is like highlighting like, damn, sometimes I need to take a break. Sometimes I need to give myself some self-care and not just get so caught up in other people, or just, I give so much to other people, especially in your family life or in your home life, or, you lose sight of yourself, and that can come out in weird ways in your health and in your work life. Okay. And Pluto's in your 8th house. So Your deep unconscious self is being completely restructured, and Pluto will move back into your 7th one last time. So Cancer doesn't have to deal with Pluto and Capricorn ever again, as long as the people who are on this planet now exist. So you've had it the hardest since 2008. So you're going to have the final swing, which we still got a ways, but Pluto in your 8th house has definitely been breaking down lifting up and rising up unconscious patterns that are being projected at you, back towards you, being reflected at you, And I think it's important to look at the deeper side of things, And I think it can help you face those fears and overcome these fears, because a lot of fear can be popping up with Cancer, with Pluto in their 8th. And it's also breaking down like these old beliefs about, it's like, why was I even scared of that? Like I was, I had fear towards a certain situation, or, maybe trust issues. It's like Pluto's going to be moving back to 1 degree over this next week. So it is like certain trust issues maybe resurfacing and looking at them in a different way, but also this full moon kind of ending these kind of bad habits in your work, bad work habits, bad health habits. That's what this full moon really is calling you to end. And when you can really like put those things into action, like you are your career right now, because your career is really doing well, even though certain things, not everything works out, but the right things are working out with this North Node in your 10th. Chiron there, it's like certain things aren't working out, but all the right things are, right? And I think Mars that just crossed your North Node reminded you of that, and it's helping you get a better sense of direction towards what is actually working out, and helping you let go of this South Node in your 4th of what is just making you feel insecure and not really in your best interest. So this full moon in your 6th is helping you end some negative habits in your work and your health life, which I think could be beneficial, because if you can clear that out and you can really be truthful about it. This full moon isn't sad. So being honest and being truthful about it, it's going to help you evolve and level up spiritually, because Jupiter is about to come into your 12th. Venus is about to come into your 12th. So you're about to expand on a spiritual level, and Cancer with the 12th house too. It's like, man, you got to have faith. You got to learn how to surrender. And Jupiter is going to be teaching you that. And when you do surrender with Jupiter coming into your 12th over the next week, that's where Jupiter really shows up for you and supports you. If you're trying to control things, especially when Pluto will come back into Capricorn, it's not going to work out. So you have to learn how to surrender with Jupiter coming into your 12th. Venus is going to be coming into your 12th. I love Venus in the 12th, not being biased, because I have Venus in the 12th, but I love it there. So it is like new relationships, behind the scenes coming in. Okay, new partnerships, new opportunities that are kind of like not really out in the open. Maybe hidden things, maybe hidden relationships, right? Or maybe multiple hidden relationships. And that's the thing. Cancer is a Gemini 12th house. So it's like when they have Venus moving through their 12th house, it's like, it's like multiple hidden kind of relationship. Or, and you having options. I think with Mercury and Uranus in your 11th, it's like Cancer has so many options right now, right? And that's the thing. It's like Cancer, like when Jupiter's in Cancer, which will happen next year, that's where Jupiter is exalted. Jupiter loves to be in Sagittarius, and it loves to be in Cancer, and it likes to be in Pisces too, traditionally. So you got this whole year over this next week when Jupiter comes into your 12th to really focus on your internal world, expand that internal world, that spiritual realm, but also purge out all the subconscious BS that does not serve Cancer, right? I think that's really important for Cancer over the next year, is to really go inward and focus spiritually. And before Jupiter comes into Cancer, because that, look, when Jupiter comes into Cancer next year, it's going to meet with the sun. This Jupiter and Gemini transit, it won't meet with the sun. So you know, all the goodies for this next Jupiter cycle isn't really going to come until Jupiter comes into your sign. So over this next year, focusing on your spiritual growth and expanding your spirituality internally, I think is the most important place to focus at this moment. So, and the Three of Swords, you know, and that's the thing. When you have the Sun in your 12th, you have Jupiter in your 12th, you know, especially with the South Node in your 4th house, like, and Chiron in your 10th, there are things that didn't work out. You know, there are things and painful struggles that Cancer has had to go through, you know, and Cancer is so sensitive and sweet, right? Cancer just wants to nurture, but then, you know, if people who have taken advantage of you, especially people that you've trusted, maybe connected to relationships or relationships within your family or family dynamics that just like have been a little wounded and painful and having to face that reality, you know, I think that's what the Sun and Jupiter and Venus coming into your 12th is going to help you clear out and expand. Is like, okay, like I've gone through a lot of pain. I've gone through a lot of struggling, and now is the time to start purging that and getting rid of it and clearing it out, because by the time you get the Jupiter in Cancer, where Jupiter really loves to be, that's when Cancer is going to start thriving. So, you know, 12th house transits are always, they can feel a little lonely, but also it's always like the death before the rebirth, right? Before the Sun is born again. You know, the very end of Pisces, before the Sun goes right back into Aries and the Sun is reborn. This whole next year with Jupiter is helping you rebirth into that new self that Cancer deserves to be, honestly. Cancer gets shit on a lot. I'll just be real. And I love Cancer. I'm Cancer Mars. So, okay, Leo, what's good? Pluto retrograde in your 7th. I think that's what's really important. And yeah, this full moon lighting up a lot of amazing things for Leo right now. But, you know, Leo having to face Pluto like this, Leo's not used to this. So, Pluto in Aquarius for Leo is so humbling, right? It's been very humbling to be able to like look at themselves. Pluto has really been breaking down that Leo ego, you know, because Leo, they are the best creators. They are the most expressive people. We love Leo. But at the same time, you got to incorporate everybody else. And that's what Pluto is teaching you, right? If you want to have quality relationships, you got to be able to be outside yourself a little bit. We love the fact that Leo is just so raw and authentic and always genuinely who you are and always loving, right? This full moon happening in your 5th house, this is one of the most creative, potent times for you. New romance coming into Leo's life, new amazing creative ideas and innovations coming into your life, and your career is just taking such a massive expansion through all these Jupiter transits. And Uranus is still there, kind of pulling your career life and your higher structure of your life in all kinds of different directions, but it's always where it's supposed to be. And I think you've learned a lot about that with Jupiter in your 10th house of like, you know, in my career life, it's just all these different areas and these different places that just keep, you know, the rug keeps getting pulled from under me. But every time that happens, a whole new door opens and a whole new expansion opens, you know, and definitely new professional, partnerships and, you know, relationships have come into your life with Venus and Taurus in your 10th house, conjunct with Jupiter, you know, and this week, the Sun, Jupiter, and Venus coming into your 11th. It's like now you can start to branch out and connect with the world in a larger way. So if you have creative ideas, because this full moon is happening in your 10th house and the Sun and Jupiter and Venus are coming into your 11th, this is the moment where the creative ideas that you want to put out into the world to connect with people, especially through technology, whether you want to put things out through social media or start a new platform or start branching out. Like, this is the full moon that's going to be activating that. And it's not just the full moon in your 5th house. It's the Sun, Jupiter, and Venus in your 11th house, where you can finally connect with people on a broader level, right? But also, what's important, because Pluto's in Aquarius, like I said, Aquarius is the ruling sign of the 11th house. Okay? Uranus is in your 10th. So when it comes to the relationships, your career, and the people you're connected to, and your creative self and your creative expression, you got to always remember that it's, no matter how great of a creator or performer you are, imagine if you're a rock star, right? You go out on stage, you perform, you express yourself, you are who you are. Okay, what are you without the audience? You're nothing. So you always have to take into account the people who appreciate you and who show up for you, who appreciate your creative abilities, okay? You always have to remember that, especially with this full moon in your 5th and everything moving into your 11th house. So it is like you are expanding in massive ways, connecting with the world through your creativity. But don't forget, it's not just about you. It's about the people who show up for you, right? And I think if Leo wants to travel right now, this is the best time for Leo to be traveling. With this Mars in your 9th house, you want to go out and see the world, do bigger things, go a long distance. Mars is your friend right now, okay? The Saturn in your 8th, it's like, as well, it's like, it could be some confusion about people you trust or money issues. Saturn kind of restricting and suppressing that in ways where it's just like, with Pisces, Saturn and Pisces, it's like you just don't want to be like swiping your card over and over and over, and then all of a sudden you didn't even realize how much money you fucking spent, right? Saturn in your 8th is testing you there. So, and over this next week as Mercury gets closer to Uranus, like, I think there's going to be some massive changes in your environment, in your work environment, in your career environment, your destiny in the world. There could be some massive shakeups and shifts that are really going to carry you into a whole new territory here. And that's aligned with this full moon, okay? And everything coming into your 11th house. So get ready, okay? Because I think, too, what's been happening with these eclipses for Leo is I think you just have had to really kind of make massive shifts and changes in your environment, and clear out old patterns and old, connections, relationships that really were not beneficial for you, that really take you into the environments where you don't want to be, okay? Like, I think looking outward, looking long-term, looking at the bigger picture with this North Node in your 9th, you need to travel with this North Node in your 9th. You need to go experience different types of people, break away from the norm, break away from just the same old relationship patterns. Go far, go a long distance, okay? You're going to find amazing things. And this full moon for you is the best. When it comes to your creativity and you actually putting it out into the world and people receiving it, okay, and connecting with people across the world who can see you and what your value truly is. Because in your career life, your value has totally gone up, has totally lifted, okay? I think Leo is coming into, by 2025, we'll get there. I don't want to get too far ahead. I'm trying to keep it weekly here, but, Pluto will be back into Capricorn. So, you can catch a break from Pluto. And that is like your work life too. Your work life and your relationship life, are really being broken down and you having to restructure that, And I think you're about to enter into new territory of this last final swing over these next few months of like, rethinking your work environment and how you take care of yourself, how you take care of your physical body. I think that's important for Leo, is to really look at those kinds of things, because it's easy to overlook with Leo. It's like, oh, I'll be fine. Everything's all good. Everything's all bright and shiny, So, taking care of yourself, Leo, is really important. With Pluto, it will come back into your 6th. We got the 6 of Cups for Leo, so, that youthful energy, and this is where you shine. It's just being in that youthful place of shining your light and experiencing the goods, and I think in your career life, you just had Jupiter and Taurus, so now you're going to start to really reap the benefits of what Jupiter was doing for you in your career and what you were expanding in your career life and the structure that you want to build. Maybe your business is expanding, or maybe you're starting a business. It's the best time for Leo to be starting a business, right? And enjoying the benefits and the rewards of what is coming through on that level for Leo. And I think that's really important. Keep projecting that energy. And this full moon is definitely helping you in your 5th house. I mean, Leo rules the 5th house. So this full moon in your 5th house, it's like, it's Leo's walking around like, I can create whatever I want. All the possibilities of whatever I want to create is all possible. And whenever I put it out into the world, it's going to connect somewhere, no matter what, especially with Jupiter and Venus and the sun coming into your 11th. So put your creative action, your creative abilities into action. And definitely with Mars transiting your 9th, being able to travel and get outside of your just basic local environment and where you're comfortable can really inspire you and bring you into whole new amazing places that can evolve you spiritually and bring in new knowledge that's going to expand you in ways that are going to affect your future for a long time. Virgo, what's good? Having to drink a lot of water. So, Virgo, this full moon in Sag, it's Gemini season, so it's a Mercury-ruled time for you. Mercury is getting ready to conjunct Uranus. I mean, and over the next week, it's going to be getting closer to Uranus. So your ruling planet is about to be lit up by Uranus. And in my opinion, Uranus is the higher octave of Mercury. Right? Mentally, Mercury rules the mind. Uranus rules the neural pathways within our mind. So it's like, as Mercury's getting closer to Uranus, I think Virgo is really trying to understand things in different ways, but also not overthinking. Getting too caught up in overthinking and all that kind of stuff is not good for Virgo right now. You got Pluto in your 6th house. So it's like, when Pluto's transiting your 6th, okay, it's like whatever you think is going to manifest in your body, okay? Because the 6th house in Virgo rules just the physical body and how you take care of your physical body. So it is like with Pluto in your 6th, any kind of overthinking, or it's like, oh my God, like maybe something's wrong. It's like, no, nothing is wrong. Like, but if you fixate on that, it's like Pluto in the 6th house, it's like you will manifest. It's like that. Pluto in the 6th is that hypochondria type of energy. But with the sun trining Pluto this week for you, it's helping you kind of overcome that energy. But also look at that kind of space within yourself of like, okay, like I really don't need to focus on that. That's useless. I don't need to be caught up in the overthinking because I don't want to bring in problems that don't even exist, that aren't even real, and Mars in your 8th house, it's like you're on a sexual level. I think Virgo is incredibly attractive right now. People are like magnetic to you, and like Mars in the 8th house, it's just like people want to possess you right now. And the North Node too is like these eclipses have been kind of triggering this whole new karmic territory that's been unfolding for you to bring in these new, very deep, intense relationships that really help you find yourself and regain and restructure your identity, right? And over this next week, Mars getting closer to Chiron, it's like putting a plan into action where you can really go deep within yourself and put this healing into place and put it into action. It's going to help you bring in these very powerful, deep, intense connections and bonds that can be very beneficial, supportive people who want to help you, right? But also with this Chiron in your 8th, getting over trust issues. It's like, I think once Mars conjuncts Chiron and gets past there, and it's going to be happening over this next week, it's like you're going to be finally getting into a space where you have to realize that, even when people have hurt me or they've broken my trust, you can't just like stay there forever. You got to open yourself up. And this full moon in your 4th house, it's like when it comes to your home life, maybe certain things that are not doing well in your home environment, this is ending a lot of patterns that are just like have not been beneficial in your home life, okay? And in your 10th house, the sun's in your 10th house, Jupiter and Venus is about to come into your 10th house. So, really clearing out any issues or any muck or any gunk that's connected to your home life and allowing this full moon to just like look at your home life and be honest about it. Like, look at the truth. It's like, okay, like, you know what? This has been piled up here for way too long. Let's just be real. Get rid of that. Gone. Bam. Because with the sun and Jupiter and Venus coming into your 10th, it's like your career life is about to expand and you're about to get all kinds of new opportunities, all kinds of new career opportunities. Okay. So being able to clean out just like your secure, safe space, can open up more possibilities, right? And discerning that of what in your environment that is not really helping you or making you feel secure, or maybe people who are not helping you or making you feel secure. It's like this full moon is going to start to clear that shit out, and it's going to make way for all these new opportunities that are coming in in your 10th house. Okay? Your value in the world, your destiny in the world is going to be increasing, right? And you're going to be magnetic in that area. So if over this next week, Venus, Jupiter, and the sun in your 10th, like you want to change your career or level up in your career or really start a new career, this is the moment, okay? And with Venus here, you're going to have it until it comes into Cancer over this next month and a half. Okay, Jupiter's going to be here for a year, even though it's not going to meet with the sun until it gets to Cancer, okay? But this is the moment. You want to put those plans into action to level up in your career? This is it, But you got to really, with this full moon this week, look at your safe space. What's got to go? What is not based in truth? What is not on the spiritual mission with you? Okay? That's what's important, because you can clear that area out. All the new opportunities in your career life and the structure you want to build, or maybe a business you want to build, are going to open up. So looking at your home life and your environment with this full moon is very important. Very important. And Saturn in your 7th, it's really tested your relationships, it's like maybe one relationship after another just doesn't work out, lots of confusion in relationships, I think Saturn's about to go retrograde. So you reassessing and looking at that shit over the next few weeks, when Saturn gets to 19 degrees here in June through Gemini season, Saturn's going to retrograde. So looking at your relationships is very important. It's like, well, is it based on a spiritual connection here? Because really, I'll count Juno right now. It's like in your first house, it's like you really want that partnership. You really want that person you can connect with. Okay? You really want to feel safe and secure, but at the same time, with Juno in your first, it's like if you want to attract that partner that you desire, you got to be good for yourself first, right? And not being so critical of yourself. Because if you're critical of yourself, you're probably even more critical of your partnerships. And maybe that's why some relationships just are not working out. Or maybe that's where the confusion lies. It's just you're being so critical of things, and Pluto in your 6th as well. It's like, don't be so overly critical. Don't project a reality that's not even real, and then you project it so much it becomes real, right? So working through all that stuff and working through the pain and the trauma of where you're wounded, like with trust issues or sexual issues, or maybe, Mars is helping you get over that shit. It's giving you that opportunity to really be more vulnerable, be more present, let go of where people didn't treat you right, where things didn't work out, But ultimately, what's really important is that your career life is going through a massive expansion over this next year. And you haven't been here since 2012. So, I didn't even bring up the chart for Virgo. There it is. So, but it's been a massive expansion since 2012. You look back to 2012, how far you've come to now, especially in your career life and in the structure. Maybe you started a business then or something, or you wanted to, but you didn't execute it then, but now you have what you need to do so. This is the territory you're moving into for the next year. And then this next week is when that is kicking off, You got the Page of Cups. So it's like, you have what you need right in front of you, and I think Virgo doesn't get enough credit for their own creativity, but I think Virgo is very resourceful and very creative, right? But on a more practical, basic level. And it's like using your creative abilities to really put a plan into action, that can really help you expand your career, and using your creativity within your career, whatever that looks like. Of course, I always associate Virgo with a carpenter or something, or a mechanic, right? These kinds of nowadays are looked at as like, oh yeah, they're just basic jobs. Like, no, like mechanics and carpenters, there's some of the most creative people I know personally. And it is that kind of Virgo creativity that's more practical and, using their hands and actually getting inside of something and physically doing the work to create something new. So I think with this full moon too, allowing you to like set up your home environment in a space that's going to allow you to like bring in more creative energy. Because if your, safe space is not being well kept, which this full moon, right, can help you see things that are not, and you are already looking at your environment of like, okay, that's not in order, that's not perfect, okay. But also with this full moon in Sag, it's not about perfection. It's about what feels right, okay? Overthinking is not going to take you to good places, especially with Pluto in your 6th. And you're going to be dealing with that for a while. So, focusing on your home environment with this full moon in your 4th is really important because your career life is about to really blow up over the next year, and setting and putting a plan and putting a structure and laying it all out like a Capricorn with the Sun, Jupiter in your 10th, Venus in your 10th. That's what you need to be doing and focusing your energy through this full moon going into next week, because that's the territory you're moving into for the next year. So, fuck yeah. Libra, you've been going through such intense South Node. This South Node has been bringing you into all kinds of interesting places that has been telling you, it's like, hey, like, I can't just be stuck here. I can't be caught up in these codependent arenas. So Mars this week getting ready to conjunct Chiron in your 7th house, this can bring up some interesting situations in relationships, maybe some conflict in relationships that can come up, right? But you have to find diplomatic solutions. Okay, and it may be a little painful, it may be a little uncomfortable to really face these things, because Libra, you want to try to keep the peace and be more diplomatic, but Aries, there's all this Aries energy and Mars and Aries. It really just wants to fucking go head first, call it like it is. And the quicker you could just do that and call it like it is, the quicker you can just get over it and find solutions. And I think that's what's really important going through this full moon and going into next week with Mars getting closer to Chiron here, So, and this full moon is happening in your 3rd house. So, making some changes in your environments can really open up new possibilities for you, and being able to see all possibilities, right? And the Sun moving into your 9th house, and Jupiter in your 9th house, and Venus coming into your 9th house. It's like, really looking at your environment, where things have been stuck and have not been working out, okay? Assessing your environment, but also like getting down to the truth and getting down to the facts. Okay, especially with whatever's connected to these relationship conflicts that are going to be coming up here as Mars gets closer. It's like you're delivering the truth and the facts. Libra has the truth and the facts right now, and this full moon is like, see, it's all right here. It's all written out. It's right here, and you can't deny that. But I also know and feel what is true, and you're the messenger this week. Okay, and Mercury in your 8th house is really like digging deep into some unknown territory, okay? Mercury's getting closer to Uranus in your 8th house over this next week. So you are going to be going into some deep places mentally, into some really unknown, uncharted mental territory where you can really uncover some hidden shit within yourself, hidden shit within your unconscious space, revealing some hidden things about some relationships in your life. Or maybe things that you've hidden and suppressed that could start to bubble up. And when Mercury gets closer to Uranus, it's just like all of a sudden the lid comes off and you can't hide it anymore. Okay? Or whatever that situation it looks like, but that's what's happening. Okay? And it's connected to this Mars in your 7th and the eclipses that have been happening in your 1st and your 7th house. So it's like, you're learning how to be yourself more. Libra's learning how to be themselves a lot more, and just really being able to discern I just don't need to be everybody's friend all the time. I got to set my boundaries. I got to set healthy boundaries, and really discern what relationships are really truly valuable and who I can really trust. Okay. And Jupiter's been helping you do that. It's been expanding that and helping you get over certain things where it's like, okay, I need to just, attract the right people into my life who I can trust, who can support me and help me get to a better place. And this full moon is really like wanting you to go out and experience new things. Go out on the town, This is your third house, this full moon. It's like, have fun, But also with Jupiter coming into your ninth, it's like, man, like traveling over this next year is going to be a big thing for you. Or even just reading and studying, or maybe going to school or going back to school or whatever. Or just wanting to invest in learning new things that you want to learn, paying for classes or, Jupiter in your ninth, that's where you can really expand and like you investing in things like that, and, putting out the resources to really like, I want to learn new things. I'm going to spend the time and spend the resources to actually do that. It will pay off. And that's how Jupiter in the ninth really works. It's like if you're willing to like put your resources towards expansion and learning new things, it will pay off. And this full moon is also like really like showing you some deep truth about certain situations in your life. Definitely connected to your eighth house and where things have been hidden, repressed, and where relationships have been wounded, and definitely conflict coming up in relationships, which I know Libra's been going through a lot. Definitely over these past few months, definitely since the nodes have been here in these eclipses. Once Mars gets towards Chiron, then we can start to understand, why things just keep playing out the same way, and really like focusing on healing these relationships where they've been wounded or just weren't, what you thought they were. So I think it's really important to really focus and be present in your environment through this full moon, because that's where new information, new ideas, and all possibilities are starting to show through, but also cleaning out your environment of where things just like aren't good for you. Okay. And that's where your mind and your vision really wants to expand towards, and expanding your environment. And you got the Queen of Swords, so you got that Mars in your seventh. Like sometimes you got to be that person, Like you come at conflict with compassion, but also not be afraid to fucking slice and dice when you have to. But also be stoic about it. You don't have to move so swiftly. Sometimes when you're just stoic but brutal, you can find better solutions and find, more diplomatic solutions. Okay, and bring more balance to your relationships and to yourself, because things have been so out of balance for Libra for a while, since we've been going through these eclipses, and these eclipses have been karmically showing you where things have been out of balance, right? So now with Mars transiting your eighth house and conjuncting Chiron there, or your seventh house, my bad, the awareness of, and Mars is crossing the North Node. It's like the awareness of the direction that you're supposed to be heading, to really heal relationships, to heal yourself, to be better in relationships, not to be so codependent or, just be friends with everybody so you can just people please all the time. The people pleasing energy is really what this Queen of Swords is really telling me that Libra really needs to like cut through at this moment, and especially with Mars getting ready to conjunct the North Node. And this full moon for you in your third house, is really shedding a lot of truth in your life, in your environment, and the facts are there to back it up. So, God bless Libra. I know the South Node hasn't been easy, and you got these last final eclipses here in October, and you're done for a while. And then when you have the North Node come into your sign here in about 8.5 years, then you could be on the other side of things. And karmically, you're going to be leading the way. All right. Scorpio. I think this full moon happening in your second house, There's a lot of increase financially. Okay, that's going to be, this full moon is going to be breaking through some financial blocks, or some blocks where, resources have been cut off and been severed. Like, I think now this full moon can kind of break you free and help you break free of, where you've been kind of stuck and you've been limited. This full moon in your second house is definitely going to help you break through some places where you have felt stuck. Okay. And the sun is coming into your 8th house. And of course, you rule the 8th house. So when it comes to those deep, passionate connections and those deep relationships, Jupiter's about to come into your 8th house. Venus is about to come into your 8th house. Scorpio loves this shit. Okay. All things Scorpio coming into your life. Deep connections, a healthy libido, a wonderful sex life coming into Scorpio's territory now, into their home. And this full moon is really helping you break through some blocks, and look at the truth of like, damn, like, this is where I've been stuck. This is why it's been blocked, and this full moon can help you break through that and find new freedom, And also on this journey to find freedom is like, your knowledge is like increasing, it expands like in such a dramatic way. This full moon is going to be very dramatic for Scorpio, especially, with everything coming into their 8th house over this next week, right after this full moon, relationships. I mean, maybe that Scorpio's just had all kinds of new increases in the relationship, right? I think a lot of expansion over this past year for you in your relationship, and you really like stepping outside of yourself to really help others. Because over this past year with Jupiter here and with Venus and Jupiter conjunct during this full moon, it's like every time you've gone out of your way to help somebody grow and expand, that's where karma comes back for you and expands for you. And that's what a Jupiter 7th house transit really is. It's like you help others grow, you help others expand, you bring new knowledge and new information to others. That's where you expand and you reap the reward, okay? So now with Jupiter and Venus coming into your 8th house, it's like you're going to be attracting all these people who want to help you, who got your back, right? And this full moon is helping you break through blocks, financially, especially, or your self-worth or your value. Maybe you haven't really felt your best. You haven't felt like you've been in your best place when in your own skin. This can help you break through some insecurities and some discomfort. Big time. Pluto in your 4th is definitely breaking down your home life and restructuring your home life and, looking at your creative self and how you want to express yourself. That's definitely been a little dampered, right? And I think too, like behind the scenes, like focusing on some creative projects can really help you break through old subconscious patterns that kind of limit you and suppress you. But the reason why they're being limited and suppressed anyway is this old subconscious shit that you haven't really brought up. So Saturn going retrograde here over the next few weeks is going to bring that up a lot. And Mars in your 6th, like, I think your health is doing well, but also there's been some things too where like your physical health or even your mental health has been somewhat damaged, and you've been having to work through that through these eclipses and this Chiron stuff. I think Scorpio has had to really face a lot of psychological stuff, that really like works its way out to the body. So with Mars in your 6th, like getting outside of yourself, doing physical things, I think can help you physically, but ultimately when you do the physical things, it can really help you mentally, right? Setting a positive routine for yourself, focusing on your personal health and your well-being at this moment, And I think that's where Scorpio is trying to heal, is that just yourself, your physical being, and if you could put that into action, your mental state will increase big time, and with Mercury getting closer to Uranus, like connecting with new people who are valuable, who see the value within you. I think over the next few weeks, like new people and new relationships are going to be coming into your life and new conversations that can be really shocking and really exciting, that are just like, wow, like, we really connect. There is new big connections coming through for Scorpio here. But I think ultimately with this full moon for Scorpio, breaking through blocks, not getting caught up and just being stuck like you can in the second house. It's like, the second house is Taurus. So it's like, not being stuck. This full moon is telling you, don't be stuck. Don't just keep doing the same old thing. Don't just be, going through the same old patterns, the same routine. This full moon wants to break you free from this routine, and new relationships coming into your life are going to help you break through routine as well, where it's just like the same old shit, the same old patterns, it's just the mundane stuff, Scorpio's about to have a lot more excitement in their life once Jupiter and Venus comes into their 8th house this week. So it's going to be a lot of fun for Scorpio once Jupiter and Venus come into your 8th. So good for you. New resources, new people who want to support you, new people coming into your life, but also too, like being able to face the trauma that's really triggered you on a physical level, where it's just like you get into these mental states of overthinking that like work its way out through your body. Like that's what Scorpio's been dealing with Chiron and these eclipses, it's having to face that kind of stuff. So this full moon in Sagittarius in your second house is definitely breaking you free from where you've been stuck physically, not even just mentally, on a physical level. Breaking through the mud, breaking out of the quicksand, stepping out of the quicksand. You have all the options. All the options are right in front of you. You have a choice, right? You absolutely have a choice. And with Venus and Jupiter coming into your 8th house, it's like you're going to be able to choose. Like all these people who are coming into your life who want to help you and support you, it's like you have a choice, but also being able to discern what the right things are and who you can really trust, right? And what is really valuable for the long term. Because when we're talking about Taurus, we're talking about Scorpio and this full moon in your second house, in the house of Taurus, it's like, what is valuable? What is going to like stay long term? Scorpio just wants a quick hit sometimes. A lot of the times. They just want it here and now, and I want it all. I want all of it. Give it to me now, and I want it fucking hard. So it is. With this full moon in your second house and all these Taurus transits that just happened in your 7th house, you have all the options. All the people in your life who are meant to be there are there. But also the ones who aren't meant to be there, you have to be able to discern that, And the rewards are going to start to show up in a very amazing, beneficial way once Jupiter and Venus start to come into your 8th house over this next week, and which is going to be expanding the depth of your life, and the depth of your relationships and the depth of your sexuality, right? And being able to like draw in the right people who can help you bring in more resources, who want to support you with the resources that they have, but also discerning like the right options, because you have all the options right in front of you. Sagittarius, here's your full moon this week. This full moon in your first house. I think Sag has been a little under the radar for a while, for a long while, especially since that South Node in Sagittarius we had 3 years ago. It's been a long while before Sag can start to break out. And I think this full moon in Sagittarius is breaking you free. It's bringing in a new understanding, right? So obviously this is the luckiest, most blessed full moon of the year, no doubt. But also, like, when it comes to like spiritual growth, you've gone through so much since we've had that South Node in Sagittarius, and this full moon is finally busting you out into the open. It's like, okay, I'm fucking back. I'm ready to party. Let's fucking do this shit. I'm ready to go far. Like, okay, like you are shining the way right now. You are illuminating the future for us right now. Sagittarius is illuminating the future for all of us. And the sun in your second house and Jupiter, Venus coming into your second house. It's like new people coming into your life, new relationships coming into your life, And I think over this next week, you're going to start to feel that, And there may have been some shocks, in your health life and your work life. And I think, too, there can be more surprises around the corner, but in a good way, And I think, too, with Jupiter leaving your 6th house, new work opportunities coming in, new relationships within the workplace, a new relationship with your physical health. I think you just went through that and understanding what that really is and what the value of that really truly is. And now that Venus and Jupiter are coming into your 7th, as this full moon is happening over this next week, new relationships coming into your life, new opportunities for new relationships that can be very beneficial, that can support you and help you understand, like, okay, because you're so far out, you're Sag, you wield all the higher knowledge, okay? You are not afraid to go to those larger, bigger places, you know? But at the same time, with the sun in your 2nd house, it's like the relationships and the people, they're right in front of you. They're right here, okay? I think that's what's been the issue with Sagittarius since the South Node. You went through the South Node transit in 2021. It's just like you kind of forgot. It's like, okay, sometimes you just have to look right in front of you. You know, I know Sagittarius they can look so far out. They can look at the more deeper, complex, you know, issues, the philosophical issues or the spiritual issues, or, you know, being able to piece together the bigger picture, you know. But sometimes when you're so far out, you miss what's right in front of you. Okay? And I think this full moon and Jupiter and Venus coming into your 2nd house is like helping you understand, like, damn, like, you know, if I were to just kind of like come back from, you know, off my fucking spaceship and just kind of like been in a little bit more safer, secure environment and not been trying to test the boundaries so much, you know, or push the boundaries so much in your home life, especially, you know, you would have gotten closer to the gold. But it wasn't meant to be that way anyway, because now is the moment with Jupiter and Venus coming into your 7th, where, you know, you're going to be bringing in, Jupiter and Venus are going to be bringing in all kinds of opportunities for new relationships and relationships that are going to help you evolve and expand and learn and grow and help you reflect this other side of yourself that you've kind of been disconnected with since 2021. And this full moon is ending that pattern, is ending that cycle. And at the same time, with Mars in your 5th house, you know, there's a lot of romance on the table, okay? There's a lot of creative energy. You know, this Mars wants to fucking go to town right now, okay? And all these eclipses that happen here too have kind of triggered your romantic life and kind of taken you into all these directions, you know, kind of ended relationships, started new relationships, you know, gotten to false ideas about relationships, and it's been a little painful, so maybe you've kind of avoided that for a while. But now with Mars getting here and in your 5th, getting ready to conjunct Chiron coming over through the next week, it's like, it's really helping you heal that space and look at it as like, okay, you know what? I'm ready for romance. I'm ready to express myself. I'm ready to create. Okay, I'm ready to be that raw, authentic person. And, you know, Mars is helping you activate that healing towards that place. But I think, too, where the support is coming through here is with Jupiter and Venus coming into your 2nd or your 7th house. Is that what's helping you get to that more raw, authentic version of you that you've kind of suppressed or you've been afraid to express? Or that's your true identity. Okay, we all know that about Sag anyway. But Sag has been struggling with that a bit, you know? But right now, Mars is really helping you put that healing into action and get over that shit. And with Venus and Jupiter here, all the right people, the right relationships are finally showing up for you. And there might be more than one. There might be many. Okay? This is Venus and Jupiter and Gemini, so it's not just one. So you have options too. But also discerning which ones are true, which ones are real. You know, can they back their shit up? Are they giving you the truth? Are you giving them the truth? Right? That's what's important. That's what's really important. And, you know, of course, Sag has no problem delivering the truth. So, I think your health and your work life is definitely like I think you maybe have felt stuck in a routine, and it's just like you need to shake up that routine quite a bit, you know. Doesn't mean change your job or change your health routine or fucking go off what actually works for you. But it is like, you know, Mercury getting closer to Uranus, it wants to really shake things up in your work life in your health life too. Try different things. You know what? Like maybe you've been eating the same things just like to keep you on this certain kind of health regimen. Maybe try something different that you might like. Break out of that routine. Mercury getting closer to Uranus wants to help you do that. So this is your full moon. You are the star of this full moon, and you are shining, illuminating the way towards truth and all the possibilities of a higher, better, bigger future. You know, despite how fucking chaotic and crazy things are, it doesn't matter. You know, you are the one shining the way for all of us right now. So we got, I mean, there's some things you got to leave behind. I mean, the Eight of Cups is just like, you know, you can't take everything with you. And I think that's been a conversation too with this South Node in Libra. It's like, you can't take everything with you. You know, and it's not everybody is meant to be in your life. And the South Node in the 11th house as well. This reminds me of that. And these eclipses that have happened in your 11th and your 5th house, you can't just take everybody with you. If you want to find yourself, you know, and it might be a little, it might be difficult to leave certain things behind that used to be valuable. But to get to the truth, to get to the higher place, I mean, look, this is your full moon. You know, this full moon is helping you get towards a better version of yourself, you know, and getting to a place of a more honest version of yourself. You know, I think there's been a lot of confusion for Sagittarius, especially going through Neptune and Pisces and the South Node in Sag 2 years ago. Now this full moon really helping you break through that place of like, okay, you know what? Like I'm finally starting to resurface again. You know, and Jupiter opposing your sun or your ascendant in your 7th house, you know, the right people like coming into your life to help you and support you, and new relationships that can really be very beneficial and very beautiful and bring new value to your life. And I think it could be shocking too, you know, that's like, wow, like, you know, because you haven't had this kind of energy in a while. You know, Jupiter in your 7th, Venus in your 7th, Mars in your 5th. And I think you're ready to go. I think you're ready to really act. But I think too, it is about the people in your life. But you can't take everyone with you. You can't just like have every relationship, and you know, you got to find commitment somewhere. And I think committing to a certain thing or some sort of I think commitment is a big deal right now. Sagittarius has a hard time with that. You know, I'm a Sag moon, so you know, I get it, but also having faith, I mean, and knowing what relationship and what connection is coming through that is divine and is of a spiritual connection and it isn't just some surface level bullshit, because Sagittarius is not surface level at all. There's nothing surface level about Sag at all. So, you know, Gemini, you know, it is all about what's on the surface, what's right in front of you. So that's what this Jupiter and Venus transit is helping you like come back down to earth a little bit and say, okay, like I just want to be present. I just need to be present for a moment and enjoy where I'm at, you know. But also it can stimulate incredible conversations that can expand your mind, expand and increase your knowledge, especially through your relationships with Jupiter and Venus coming into your 7th house. And also shaking up and breaking that routine that this Mercury getting closer to Uranus in your 6th house and your work and your health life. Try different things. You know, don't be afraid to shake shit up. So, happy full moon to Sag. Capricorn. You've had a moment without Pluto in your sign. Pluto's retrograde, so you know that Pluto's getting ready to come back here. So, this full moon in your 12th, I think is interesting because it's clearing out a lot of things that you haven't been willing to face. It's bringing up a lot of shit that's been hidden and repressed, especially subconsciously more so, which, you know, we're talking about the 12th house. We're talking about the subconscious. So, you know, focusing in that area of that more hidden space where people don't really see about you is being kind of revealed, you know? And I think too, like maybe you haven't been willing to break outside of your comfort zone to really show people underneath the hood or underneath the surface for you. And I think this full moon is kind of like illuminating that hidden space where the right people in your life can see it. Right? And it's like, oh shit, like, you know, Capricorn's like trying to put a lid on it and control it, but you're not going to be able to control this. Things are going to come out and other people are going to be able to see it and they're like, we want to help you. You know, just surrender to that. And this full moon is telling you surrender to the people who want to help you at this moment. Okay? I think your work life is increasing majorly with the sun coming into your 6th and all this amazing Jupiter and Taurus and Venus and Uranus and this new moon that just happened in your 5th house. I think creatively, there's so many amazing creative ideas that have come through that are going to allow you to expand and move into whole new territory and taking that energy and putting it into action, you know, and Mars is in your 4th house. So if you're moving at this point or you need to make a move or you're just not happy where you're at or you're not happy with the people that you're with or that you live with, or it's just like, you know, there's a lot of fucking baggage and trauma. It's like, you know, Mars is like, you need to like break free, do something else, go somewhere else, build something new, because the South Node in your 10th house has been like trying to purge out any sort of shit in your career life or your work life that, you know, in the relationships in your career and work life that just like, you know, are not helping you build the life that you want or help you get to the top of the mountain. Okay. And Pluto in your 2nd house, it's like a lot of self-worth issues for Capricorn is popping up, you know, and you've been dealing with that and you're not really fully in it yet. And you haven't really fully understood it yet. You know, Pluto's about to come back into your 1st house over these next few months. But right now is a moment, especially with Pluto trining the sun in your 6th. It's like, okay, like if you can really like make a solid health routine that you can, you know, utilize each day, it can help you break free from those unconscious like discomforts or where you feel disconnected from yourself and like your self-worth just takes a hit, right? I think finding a good solid routine with your health and your eating habits and your work life, balancing your work life is really important for Capricorn right now and facing those self-worth issues. And definitely like, I really think for Capricorn, it's like with Saturn and Neptune in your 3rd and Mars and Chiron in your 4th and the North Node and these eclipses, it's like, if you're not happy where you're at, make a move, do something different, go somewhere else. You know, you have so much creative potential right now. Use your creativity to find solutions. And I think Mercury getting closer to Uranus can help you find solutions to do something different. You know, you just have to actually put the fucking plan into place and take action. Like, you know, yes, of course, there's a divine plan, but it's a 50-50 split. You know, if you put it in, the divine will support you. God will support you, right? And I think if anybody knows that, that's Capricorn, because you're the closest to the non-physical world, right? You're at the top of the mountain, or at least you want to get there, and you know how to get there, but you actually have to do the work and put it into place, which, you know, I don't even know why I have to tell that to Capricorn, but, you know what to do. If you don't like where you're at, go build something new, even if you got to build it from scratch. But the thing is, I take that back. You don't need to build anything from scratch because you have all the right pieces in place anyway. You know, and Jupiter and Venus is about to come into your 6th house, so new work opportunities coming in. I think your health is going to be increasing, you know, so putting a health routine in place, Venus and Jupiter will trine Pluto here, which is going to be fucking amazing for you and your work and your health life. So this is an opportunity for you to expand and evolve that area, you know, but new creative, innovative ideas are definitely coming through for you, you know, but this is all on the surface because this full moon is what is highlighting what's really underneath the surface for Capricorn and really blowing the lid off of the things that you thought you could just keep hidden, you know, or maybe people who've been doing things that where you couldn't see, where that, you know, gets exposed, you know, or you just awakening to the truth of like these subconscious patterns and habits of where you get stuck and you just go through these loops and these loops. You know, I think this full moon is helping you fucking blast through that and get to the truth of what the fucking heart of the matter really is. You know, and I think that's really important for Capricorn to focus on is like what's underneath the surface, because everything on the surface for Capricorn is great. You know, if you need to make a change in your environment and in your home life, do it. You know how. You have the tools. You know how to build whatever you need to build. Okay. But with this 12th house full moon, it's focusing on your internal world and all the things that most people can't see. And maybe even talking about the things that you don't want to talk about with people, or, you know, if you like to go to therapy or what, or you maybe, you know, Capricorn's so fucking stubborn. It's like, I don't need therapy. I just need to keep working. Right. It's like, well, maybe this might be a moment to fucking go to therapy or do something that, you know, talk to somebody else, or fucking book a reading with me. Like, you know what I mean? Like something that can help you break free from these loops. And that's what this full moon is really asking you to do and pushing you to do, you know. And then when you are willing to do that, you can really get to the truth of the matter, which can really increase and expand your knowledge and your spirituality and get closer to your divine connection. I think that's what this full moon is doing for Capricorn. And it's really, really amazing. You know, 12th house full moons are always interesting, and they can bring up things that's like, fuck, I totally forgot about that. I just totally buried that and I didn't even look. And here it is, you know, and now it's revealed. But the moment it's revealed and you have to face it and you have to face the truth, the quicker you can get to the truth and get to the next level, because that's what Capricorn wants to do. It wants to get to the next level, okay? So, you know, with the Six of Swords, you got to leave something behind, you know? But you take what you need with you. And I think this is a thing that's been coming up a lot with the South Node in Libra. It's like you can't take everything with you. And I think most importantly, especially this image just always reminds me, it's like, yeah, like there's people, there's a family, there's, you know, obviously the wounds and the pain connected to these people that you love, especially with this Chiron, Mars, North Node in your 4th house. There's something in your family or some situation that is just not, you know, it's not pleasant. So, but I think it's connected more to your subconscious space, or maybe even childhood stuff or things from the past that have been repressed, you know, and definitely with Pluto there with the self-worth issues that are even more unconscious, or maybe even before your birth, or the prenatal issues, you know, which, you know, you look at your chart, you look at the prenatal eclipses, especially with Pluto in your 2nd house. It's important to look at something like that that can help you discern, okay, this is where I'm going, this is what I'm taking with me, and this is what I'm leaving behind, because it's just baggage, it's just weight, you know. And I think too, like with that North Node in your 4th house too, it's like you are being called to like build a better support system, build a more secure home life for yourself. And that's where these eclipses have been kind of pulling you in multiple directions to really put that plan into action. And now with Mars here, and Mars just crossed the North Node, this is the moment where you can put that plan into action, you know. But also not being afraid to go into that internal space of where you think things are hidden, because this full moon is going to pop the lid off certain things, which is good in the long run. Always is, especially with Sagittarius. So, Aquarius. Pluto's been in your sign. It's in your 1st house, right? And it's going to come into your 12th house here in September. But right now, it's like you're getting a taste of what Pluto is like in your 1st house, you know, and you're going to get the last Pluto 12th house, Capricorn. That's it. You're done. I know since 2008, you've had Pluto in your 12th. So it's been a lot of subconscious repressed shit just popping off all the time. Cataclysmic events just going nuts, you know, and it's like buried hidden things that, you know, you thought no one saw, you know, keep bubbling up. So you got one more swing of that, but also like this transformation and this reinvention of yourself and this metamorphosis of the person that you're becoming, you know. That's really what you're going through, you know. And I think this Sun trine Pluto too is giving you a taste of like, fuck, like I need to transform myself into the most raw, authentic version of myself, because what I really am and what I want to do is be a creator. You know, not just fucking disconnect from the world, you know. It's like connecting and communicating with people, you know, and communicating in, you know, the environment that you're in with the people that you're close to. The people that are right in front of you can help you get to a place where you can find that more raw, authentic person for yourself. Because that's hard for Aquarius, you know. Aquarius can feel a little disconnected, but at the same time, where Aquarius does thrive in expressing itself is when it just like totally goes full punk rock and just does everything that everybody else isn't doing, you know? And so I think with this Pluto trine the Sun here, and this full moon happening in your 11th house, which you are the ruling sign of the 11th house, it's like you finally busting out into the world. Pluto's been in your 12th, so it's like you've been a little repressed for a long. You've been repressed a lot for a long time, or you've been repressing and suppressing things. It's like this full moon is giving you a hunch of what you need to be doing to really create and how you want to express yourself. And Venus and Jupiter this week coming into your 5th house is going to help you do that. It's going to help you, reinvent that version of yourself and reinvent how you express yourself and what you want to create. And it's like, I think your home life, you've been expanding in your home life and the place that you feel more secure. Maybe you've been more focused on your family life, and definitely as well. I mean, you've been supported there, but ultimately what Aquarius wants to do at this moment with the sun coming into their 5th and Jupiter and your Venus coming into your 5th house, it's like you want to be focusing on creating, okay? And new romance coming into your life too, or new passionate romantic connections coming into your life that can be very beneficial, right? It's almost like just a new partner comes in out of nowhere, and it was the biggest blessing on the planet, right? Because you've been in such a hidden space with Pluto in your 12th. It's like, damn, so this full moon happening into your 11th wants to launch you out into the world. It wants to kind of pop you off and like allow people to see you, okay? And this full moon, Pluto is going to be sextiling because Pluto's in Aquarius, okay? It's going to be sextiling the full moon, trining the sun on this full moon at 2 degrees. It's just like, this is your time to connect. Be out in the world, connect with other people. Uranus is your ruling planet. So Uranus in your 4th house, and maybe your home life you've expanded your home life, but it's been in weird, crazy ways, and maybe it's been a little turbulent, but it always gets you to a beautiful place no matter what. So you've kind of gotten the hang of riding that way, but you're good at that anyway because, you like that. You like when things just kind of shift and change quickly. And so Mercury in your 4th house is helping you in getting closer to Uranus, and your ruling planet is helping you focus on new innovative ways to create a more secure space for yourself and to create a more secure home and feel comfortable in your space. Even though Aquarius isn't really always comfortable and maybe doesn't want to be comfortable, but I think having a safe place to feel and to be can help you get to that 5th house more and be that more raw, authentic, creative person. But you need that safe space to be and know that you're secure and you're comfortable so you can be yourself and be that true person that you are, and this full moon wants to launch you out, and your beliefs and your ideas and your creative abilities are going to be expanding in really amazing ways with Venus and Jupiter coming into your 5th house. And I think on that level, with Venus and Jupiter in your 5th, that's happening this week, you could be having a lot of fun with new people and new connections coming into your life. Because I really feel like Aquarius has been kind of like underneath the surface, and been suppressing and repressing a lot of things with that Pluto transiting your 12th. And you've been getting a taste of what that's going to be like, Pluto in your 1st, of totally reinventing who you are and how you connect with the world and how you connect with people and how you want to put yourself out there in the world, So I think that's really important to really realize, we got the 4 of Wands. So, I think too, like, you can finally celebrate a little bit of like, okay, like, I've kind of been behind the scenes for a long time. And now this full moon launching you out into the world, launching you out into the open, making you more visible to people. And definitely with Venus and Jupiter coming into your 5th, making you more visible to people who really like you, who are really attracted to you, but who also really want to support you and help you grow and help you expand, and definitely in many ways, creatively, romantically, in your love life, family, if you have children, I think, all these things. And I think this is a moment to celebrate of like, fuck, I'm finally coming out, And there will be a moment through the second half of the year where Pluto goes back into the underworld, into your hidden 12th house. And it's going to give you the final message and the final swing of like, okay, what does this transformation really look like? And helping you understand that, because 12th house transits can kind of be a little blurry and a little confusing. And it isn't until a planet comes into your first house where you can start to really see through the fog and make sense of it. So you're getting a glimpse of that. And this full moon is helping you blast off into the world and be more visible and speak your truth. Because when you speak your truth with this full moon in Sag, it's going to connect with people and people are going to resonate with it. But at the same time, in Aquarius fashion, it might shake up people's feathers a little bit. And that's what you love and that's what you do best. So embrace that shit. So we're an hour and 45 minutes into this. Holy shit. Here we are. Pisces. Wonderful Pisces. I love Pisces. I love Pisces. Neptune's at the last degree of your ruling planet is at the last degree in your sign. This is the first taste of it. You know, Neptune is going to start slowing down. Saturn's going to start to slow down in your sign, in your first house. So it's like, you know, you've been really like being able to look at yourself in a whole new way. You know, I think over the past 13 years, since 2011, 12, since Neptune's been there, there's been confusion, okay? Like, there's been a little bit of, there's been disillusion as well. Like, I think that's what Neptune and Saturn are doing in your first house. It's dissolving the version of yourself that you thought you were, the image that you wanted to project that you really are not, you know, and Pluto in your 12th is helping you break down and restructure, you know, who you are, who you think you are. And this full moon in your 10th house, you know, your career life. I think there's going to be massive changes in your home and your career life, okay? The sun's in your 4th, Venus and Jupiter's in your 4th. So I think in your home life, you're going to be expanding in new ways, maybe moving into a new home. I know when I went through the last Jupiter 4th house transit I went through, I moved into a new home that I dreamed of, you know, and envisioned and visualized, and that's what you do best. You know, when you visualize it, it happens. That's your gift. All you have to do is visualize it. Of course, you got to put it into action, because with Mars in your 2nd, it's like, well, if you don't put the plan into action, like there's no value, there's no weight, there's no substance, right? So that's your gift, as long as you can put it into action. And with Venus and Jupiter coming into your 4th house and your home life is going to be expanding, you know. And I think right now you're really breaking old patterns with Mercury in your 3rd and Uranus here, and Mercury getting closer to Uranus. That's like, you really need to like get out of your routine and get out of the same old pattern and dabble in new environments, dabble with new people, you know, try new things. Don't be afraid to get outside of your comfort zone right now. Actually, I don't think you have a choice. I think Mercury and Uranus getting closer together is going to be kind of shocking. He's like, get up, get off the couch, you know, open your eyes, stop sleeping all day. Like, go try new things, connect with new people, connect with different environments, you know. And I think, too, it's important because this full moon in your 10th house is like, there can be some endings in your career life, but also some new beginnings, and there could be some truth that can be shown upon your career life, you know, where things, you know, you haven't really looked, right? That's the thing about you as a Pisces. It's like, you know, you always want to see the good in things. You want to see you're the one who's got the rose-colored glasses on, and that is part of your magic. That is your gift as well. But also, that's the thing. Full moon in Sagittarius with Pisces, and where Sag and Pisces conflict is that it's like, okay, even though I think Sag and Pisces are the 2 most magical signs of the zodiac, for sure, but that's where they teach each other. Is that okay? Like, you know, you can have the rose-colored glasses on, and you can see into other dimensions, and you can see other realms, and you can be the closest beings connected to the divine source, but also it's like there is a physical reality, and there is a truth about this physical reality that, you know, we live in a 3D world, or at least in these bodies, we exist in a 3D world. So this full moon is reminding you of that. Like, shit, like, you know, in this 3D world, 10th house, Capricorn, 3D, Saturn, you know, it's like, you know, you got to be willing to play the game, you know, and that's the truth. It's like, if you play the game right and you want to find your own way to get to the top and like build a new business or, you know, start a new career or, you know, change your career. This is a full moon where you're going to be triggered into doing that, you know, and it can help you increase your home life and where you feel secure and where you feel safe, you know, because I think too, it's like with this Chiron in your 2nd, there's been a lot of self-worth issues that have come up. through these eclipses, and Mars is helping you heal that. You know, you just have to be willing to actually act upon that, you know. And the South Node is just letting go of the trauma, letting go of the unconscious fucking shit that just holds you back, that just keeps you stuck. You know, anything connected to like certain bonds that, you know, you thought you could really trust somebody in this relationship and it didn't work out that way, or maybe past life issues, but more like, you know, issues when you were younger that are more unconscious, that were implanted into you, that kind of, you know, had control of you for a long time. The South Node is really helping you clear that shit out, you know, because that unconscious stuff of how you were programmed is what affects your relationships negatively. So the South Node and these eclipses are helping you bring awareness to that. And I think putting that focus towards being realistic about the structure you want to build in your life and in the world, you know, that's going to increase your business life, increase your work life, and increase your home life. You know, that's where Jupiter is headed for you. As Jupiter moves into Gemini this week, you know, and definitely Venus moving into your 4th house can draw in new relationships. That can, it's like, yeah, I really feel secure in this, within this relationship and this connection. Or, you know, new creative projects coming in that can bring you more security, you know, and more financial security as well. Mars is helping you get to a better place too, of like putting plans into action, of like going after. It's like, okay, like I got to go after this shit to like bring more security to my life, more financial security, increase my self-worth, increase my value. But it just doesn't come, especially with Mars and Aries in your 2nd. It's like you got to actually do it. You got to fight the battle. You got to take the battle head on. You know, you can't just fucking ignore it, or, you know, like, oh, I don't want to face that right now. Like typical Pisces, you know, it's like, face it head on. This is the moment. And that's what's going to help you with this full moon, like really like break through patterns of like, you know, control issues, or, you know, things in your career that need to dissolve, you know, or being honest about what your career life looks like, you know, and rebuilding that. And I think too, this full moon can open up new opportunities for within your career, if you're in a career, or, you know, you want to start a new career, all that stuff, or start a business, open a business. This is the time. And you can really see where the prosperity and the rewards begin to start to show up over this next year in your career life and in your home life. And you got the World card. So, you know, with the power that you have right now to really like transform the structure of your life, you have to be rooted in your beliefs. It's like, you know, I believe that I can do this, you know, and not be shaken, because Pisces is very easily like, you know, they can jump from person to person, environment to environment, and they just kind of become that. And sometimes they can forget themselves. But I think with this full moon in your 10th house and this World card, like really making me feel like, you know, you really got to have faith. You got to believe that you can make a massive impact and a difference in the structure of your life, as long as you're willing to be consistent and be rooted in that, in those beliefs and in that value, and be willing to express yourself, you know, and also get down to the deep truth and like do the dirty work, you know, because then if you could do that, then you can connect with the world. So the World card is all the fixed signs, right? So I think being strong and having the strength, and, you know, getting over the kind of, you know, the typical Pisces thing where it's like, you know, like everything's great, you know, even though underneath the surface it's not great, and you don't want to, you know, tell people how you really feel because you care so much, and you don't want people to feel bad based upon how you feel. Like, no, like speak your truth. Mercury's in your 3rd house. Okay? Speak your truth. And when you do that, with Mercury getting closer to Uranus, you may be surprised with what kinds of new things show up in your life that can increase your value and increase your self-worth, you know, because self-worth issues with Chiron in your 2nd have been a struggle for sure. And Pisces in general struggles with that, you know, because you're so sensitive, and you are all of us. You are the whole zodiac. Okay? Pisces is the last sign. Neptune's at the last degree of Pisces. So you're always carrying the baggage of the collective conscious. That's how I always feel about Pisces. But that's why you're so beautiful. That's why you're so gifted. That's why you're so magical. You know, Aries doesn't even know anything about that. You know, it's like, yeah, I'm here. Here I am. Like, let's fucking do this shit. And you're just like, well, like, I've been through it all. You know, like, you're here to teach those lessons. You know, you really, I mean, of course, Sagittarius carries a lot of wisdom and knowledge. But Pisces, to me, really carries the knowledge, the universal knowledge, right? I think Sag carries the knowledge of natural law. You carry the wisdom of the universe, and it's within you, and you express that. But it's also a burden. So, making changes in your environment with Mercury in the third house, getting closer to Uranus, can really help you break free from patterns that kind of devalue you or lower your self-worth or just, you know, take you down to those places. And this full moon is giving you an opportunity to really restructure your life, make changes in your life, and be honest and be truthful about the future that you want to create. Because all the possibilities are there and every door is open. That's the thing about this full moon. Every single door is open. It's just a matter if you're willing to get outside of yourself, of where you get stuck, and where the subconscious patterns just play out over and over and over, and it takes you to the same result. You know, breaking free from that can help you get to the goal. And you got to aim high with this full moon in Sag in your 10th house, in your career house. Aim high. Aim as high as you can go. Because the higher you aim, the more prosperity and security that this Jupiter in your 4th house is going to provide. You know. But also, don't overshoot. You know. Anyway, that was a lot of fun. That was 2 hours long. So I'm going to try to leave the timestamps of where each sign is, because I know everybody doesn't want to watch for all the signs. But, you know, if you're watching for your sun, your rising, you'll get the most benefit out of it. And maybe for your moon, if you want to, and incorporate that as well. And you could put all three together and kind of homogenize it, you know, whichever level of astrology or how much you understand about your chart, you know, it can be useful. But at least watching for your sun and your rising can be very, very beneficial. So anyways, this was a lot of fun. And I appreciate all of you being here. And this was super cool. I hope you guys enjoyed how I was able to display it. I think over time I want to expand on it even more. And I have a lot of other ideas for content as well. So give me your feedback below. I hope this was beneficial. And I will see you all next week for sun signs. Again, I'm going to try to keep this in the routine of the week. So it was a lot. I'm not going to lie. Talking for 2 hours is pretty wild. So usually the daily horoscopes are 10, 20, sometimes 30 minutes. So, woo! That was cool. I appreciate all of you, and I hope you guys have a wonderful week. Peace.